In the first semester of senior year, Song-soo lost his memory due to an accident. He remembers everyone, except for me. They all say that Song-soo is pretending because he couldn't stand my disturbance. Faced with his indifferent gaze, I gave up my feelings for him. I applied to a university far from his intended choice after the college entrance exam. It wasn't until he saw the couple photo of me and my handsome boyfriend on my moments that he realized Song-soo was utterly devastated on the spot. In the voice message, his voice was distorted and shrill. "Who is he? Didn't you say you only liked me?" I smiled calmly. "Ah, sorry, I forgot. 1. The night before Song-soo got into a car accident, he still dropped me off on his way home. Late summer nights, with a faint chill in the air, the dim streetlights stretched our shadows long. I looked up at him, the soft glow blurring his features. "Want to come over for a late night snack tonight? I still have 2 problems I need help with." He shook his head and refused without thinking. "No, it's too late, we'll talk about it tomorrow." Song-soo often rejects me, but I don't take it too personally. After all, that's just his personality, cold and unyielding, hating to be controlled by others. I asked again, "So, what would you like for breakfast tomorrow? I can bring you something." "No need," he said, glancing down at me with a cold, dismissive look. "If you bring me breakfast, people might get the wrong idea." I was stunned for a second. Song-soo never cared what other people thought, so who exactly was he afraid of misunderstanding him? Suddenly, the image of a girl flashed into my mind. Lin Mingxua from class 2, grade 12 next door. She's the new transfer student who just started at No. 3 high school this semester. Slender and tall, with a fair and pretty complexion, she was dubbed the class beauty not long after her arrival. Even though she was in the class next door, she came to ask Song-soo for help with problems several times during breaks. When explaining problems to others, he was calm, detached, and expressionless. When explaining the problem to her, his tone was gentle and he smiled frequently. Since she transferred here, Song-soo's attitude towards me has become increasingly cold. Even when we walk home together, he no longer waits for me at the classroom door. Instead, he waits at the bus stop 600 meters away from the school. The realization hit me, and my heart sank. Even though Song-soo was right beside me, in that moment, he felt a world away. I was never anything special to him. He never cared for me at all. Before I could fully process the bitterness, a piece of news struck like a bolt from the blue. The next day at school, Song-soo got into a car accident on his way to school. 2. When I saw him again, it was already the weekend. I went to visit him, bringing along the week's worth of test papers and notes. Song-soo's mother told me he was in a VIP private room at the city hospital. When I arrived, neither Auntie Song nor Uncle Song was there. Only a caregiver was looking after him. Seeing that I had come to see Song-soo, the caregiver stepped out. I was just about to ask how he was recovering when he spoke first. "Who are you? Why are you here to see me?" His tone was cold, his eyes devoid of any emotion, as if I were a stranger who had suddenly barged in. I was momentarily stunned by his guarded, indifferent gaze. I'm Shinli. "Song-soo, are you kidding me?" Song-soo leaned against the hospital bed, the sunlight from the window casting a pale glow on his slightly pallid face. He looked at me calmly, his expression showing a hint of impatience. "I'm not joking with you. I don't know you. Please leave." He didn't take the papers and notes from my hand this week. The teacher covered several classic problem types. As someone who usually doesn't take notes, I meticulously copied every step the teacher took in my notebook, so Song-soo wouldn't fall behind. It was densely packed, filling up half the notebook. My class, Class 1, is the top-performing class. The students have strong comprehension skills, and the teachers teach at a very fast pace to keep up. My hands have barely stopped all week. My desk mate teased me, "Your hands are so fast they're almost invisible. Have you summoned your notebook yet?" I don't know if the notebook has any solutions, but I'm completely out of ideas. Under Song-soo's gaze, which was practically shooing me away, my mind went completely blank. In the end, I could only leave the hospital with the notebook in hand. I felt utterly powerless and desolate inside. Has he really lost his memory? How can he be so cold to me after just 1 week apart? I tightened my grip on the phone in my hand. During this past week, Song-soo sent a brief message to the class group to let everyone know he was safe. He didn't send me a single message. Our chat history has been stuck for 10 days. The date now showing a specific year and month, long silent. During his half-month Leave, I lived in a daze, my mind a tangled mess, I couldn't taste my food, and I had no heart to study, but when he had fully recovered and returned to class, Lin Mingxue from the neighboring class came to see him. By the window in the corridor, the girl's fair and lovely face was etched with concern. Have you recovered completely? Did you fall behind in your studies these past 2 weeks? The window was slightly ajar, and I happened to be sitting right next to it. Her voice was melodious and exceptionally clear. Song Su's thin lips curved into a particularly gentle smile. I'm fully recovered. From today on, you can continue asking me any questions you're unsure about. In that instant, my mind went completely blank. He doesn't remember me, but he remembers her. His attitude towards her remained as gentle as ever. It hadn't changed in the slightest because of this incident. It was as if I was the only one forgotten, or it was all a lie fabricated just to get away from me. That day seemed to pass with agonizing slowness. I was jolted awake from my daydream only when the teacher called my name. Staring blankly at the problem on the blackboard, I blurted out "C" on instinct. The English teacher furrowed her brow. "Shinli, you seem distracted a lot lately. We're in the final year of high school now. Don't let trivial matters disrupt your studies. You'd better watch your step." After class, my desk mate dropped his usual cheeky grin and asked me what was wrong. "You haven't been yourself since Song Su's accident." "He's fine now, isn't he? So why are you still walking around in a daze?" I shook my head, stubbornly refusing to admit it. "It has nothing to do with him." After evening self-study ended, I waited until I saw Song Su pack up his things, then slipped out of the classroom a step ahead of him. I'm heading to the bus stop where we agreed to meet. The wind was particularly strong that night. I waited for over 10 minutes. As I shivered from the cold, the last bus pulled up in front of me. I hesitated for 2 seconds, questioning whether to wait longer. My body's instinct made the decision for me. I stepped onto the bus, and my heartbeat seemed to slow down. Outside the window, streetlights passed by in a blur. The path home I used to walk with him, I now walk alone. A sudden thought occurred to me. I don't want to like Song Su anymore. 3. As soon as I got home, my phone started buzzing nonstop. In the class group chat without the homeroom teacher, a lot of people were talking. The topic revolved around Song Su. After school just now, I saw the top student walking with Lin Mingxue, the prettiest girl from the class next door. What's going on? Yeah, didn't the genius used to walk home with Shinli? I also find it strange. Song Su and Shinli used to discuss problems every day. Why didn't they say a word today? Messages kept popping up. It made the heart feel heavy. Suddenly, a notification from a special contact popped up. Song Su replied to everyone in the class group chat. After the accident, I forgot some things. Were Shinli and I close? Before a moment of silence in the class group chat, I stared at the messages on my phone screen, feeling as if they were a sharp thorn, so glaring. It was nearly 5 minutes before others started replying. "Ah, what happened?" "So, Song, top of the class, are you saying you have amnesia? You don't remember any of us? Let me ask you this. Do you at least remember all that high school knowledge? We saw you chatting and laughing with the girl from the next class today. Surely you at least remember her." Everyone was talking over each other, and the class group chat was buzzing. They were all so lively, nothing like high school seniors who had just finished a grueling night study session. Song Su replied, "I remember most people, but I don't really remember much about Shinli. The doctor said my memory might come back gradually." I didn't say a word the entire time. My hand holding the phone trembled slightly. He admitted it himself, only forgetting me just moments ago. I had convinced myself not to like him anymore, yet I still couldn't help being swayed by his every word and action. We were classmates in middle school. We lived in the same neighborhood, so we often walked to school together. Over time, we became closer and closer. Although not childhood sweethearts, we were definitely closer than regular friends. I worked hard to get into the same high school and class as him. Despite my usual 3-minute enthusiasm for everything, I managed to rein in my scattered thoughts and transform myself into an incredibly disciplined and diligent student. I looked up to him, a secret crush taking root and sprouting in my heart. But before this newly budding affection could ever see the light of day, it was personally snuffed out by Song Su. My heart turned to ashes as I put down my phone. I took out the unfinished math test and began working through the problems. My heart gradually grew calm. I stayed up very late that night, but the gloom that had hung over me for days was gone. Since I was little, my parents taught me to be able to accept both gains and losses with grace. "It's just Song Su," After all, my life doesn't really need him that much, for, ever since that chat in the class group that day, a rumor spread within the class. Everyone privately speculated that Song-soo hadn't really lost his memory and certainly hadn't forgotten me. He was just pretending to avoid my interruptions and closeness. I actually thought the same. After all, how could amnesia be so precise, forgetting only me? Clearly, he wanted to draw a line between us to avoid being misunderstood by Lin Mingxue from the next class. I choose to let go of myself and fulfill his good intentions. I'm learning not to pay attention to anything about him, stop bringing him breakfast or inviting him for late-night snacks, quickly pack up my bag after school and no longer wait for him at the bus stop like a fool. Choose to ask other classmates or teachers when I have questions. The whole class is full of top students, with good grades all around, so I don't have to ask him. I am immersed in the ocean of learning, gradually discovering its joys. In the past, I studied just to keep up with Song-soo. It was a daily grind, a bit of a struggle, but now I understand that every problem I solve, every formula I memorize, every piece of knowledge I acquire, all will lead me to a brighter and broader future. Soon, I achieved my goal in the midterm exams. I surged into the top 10 of the class, landing the auspicious 8th place in this class full of top students. I made my first significant progress. You have to understand, I usually rank around 20th or 30th. Just maintaining that position is already a real struggle. I had no idea I had this much potential in me. My mood was, naturally, through the roof. My desk mate, being his usual smart aleck self, asked if I'd been drinking some kind of golden brain booster tonic. I joked, "Yeah, I'll crack open your head and drink it." While we were chatting, I quickly packed my bag. The classroom was a bit chaotic after the exam results were released. I had to hurry to grab a shared bike at the school gate. I rushed to the bike-sharing rack and, to my luck, found one last bike still available. I had just opened the app on my smartwatch, ready to scan the QR code, but then, a voice reached my ears, familiar, yet somehow strange. Its tone was even, carrying an inexplicable, natural sense of distance. "Shinli, can you let me have the car? Lin is running a fever, and I need to take her home." I looked up at him, my gaze passing over him to see Lin Mingxue behind him. Lin Mingxue had long, black hair cascading down, with natural waves, clearly just taken out of a ponytail. Her skin was very fair, with a faint blush on her cheeks, and her eyes were watery. "It does seem like you have a fever." I placed my backpack in the basket lined with tissues. I turned back to Song-soo. "Classmate, don't you have money for a taxi?" Facing Song-soo's slightly surprised gaze, I got on my bike. "Lin is running a fever, and you can't even spare the money for a taxi. It's freezing cold in the middle of the night, and you make the patient ride a bicycle. Have you ever read any books?" Under the influence of my desk mate, my sharp tongue has already surpassed the master. Song-soo, who is so aloof and sparing with words, definitely can't out-talk me. After finishing, I rode away on my bicycle. I need to hurry home. I still have half of my physics paper left to finish at 11:30. I put down my pen, ready to stretch a bit and review a few English words before bed. My phone buzzed suddenly. I found it strange. Who would be contacting me at this late hour? Could it be my desk mate wanting to go over the wrong answers? I opened my phone and was surprised to find a message from Song-soo. "Shinli, do you have a problem with me?" Before I could even reply, 2 more messages popped up in quick succession. "Are you upset because I forgot about you, or is it because you're bothered by how close I've been with Lin Mingxue?" 5. I couldn't help but roll my eyes right then and there. I replied with just 4 words, "You're so dramatic." I used to think Song-soo was amazing. No matter how difficult the problem, he'd always come in first in the whole school. Now I think he's got a few screws loose. His thought process is beyond normal comprehension. I set the message to do not disturb mode and then focused entirely on memorizing words. Before midnight, I went to bed on time and didn't open Song-soo's chat box again. At this moment, I suddenly understood, letting go of someone is the process of demystifying them. The initial glow has faded, and I'm increasingly realizing that he's just ordinary after all. During the break the next day, I closed my eyes and rested for the 10 minutes after class. As I rested on the desk, someone knocked on the surface. My ears perked up, and I jolted awake, seeing the person standing in front of my desk. It's Song-soo. He was backlit, making it hard to read his emotions from his face. My attitude wasn't great after being disturbed while resting. "What is it?" Song-soo's lips parted slightly, but he didn't speak for several seconds. Perhaps noticing my growing impatience, he finally spoke. "Is it convenient for us to leave school together today? I have something I want to tell you." If it were before, I might have been very happy, because this was the first time he took the initiative, but now, I feel he's a bit of an extra now. The moment evening self-study ends, I rush straight home, all to race against the clock, to get home a little earlier and squeeze in some more study time. Who has time to wait for him? I glanced at my bare wrist, pretending to check the time, and brushed it off casually. I'm a bit busy, can't walk together tonight. Okay, great. Before Song-soo could react, my desk mate suddenly chimed in, Shinli, want to grab lunch together? I thought for a moment, it's Wednesday, and the cafeteria has my favorite stir-fried pork with peppers. Immediately agreed. Okay, you need to hurry. After the fourth period, we started chatting as if no one else was around. It made Song-soo standing in front of my desk seem so unnecessary. He seemed to want to say something several times but couldn't get a word in. Noticing the frequent glances from other classmates, he might have cracked under the pressure and quietly left. After he left, my desk mate lowered his voice. Shinli, weren't you two good friends before? What happened? I smiled. It's over for good, 6. Senior year was a grind, intense yet monotonous, but within that monotony, I managed to find a bit of enjoyment. My grades improved noticeably. Each monthly exam was a testament to my hard work. My total score will only be higher than the last time in this class. I've gone from being an average, unnoticed student to being called a top performer. The homeroom teacher said that Shinli from our class is a dark horse. And once girls get it, they're smart. During breaks, some classmates I wasn't close with before come to ask questions. I'm a patient person, and I always strive to explain things in a clear and simple way. As the lessons delved deeper into the subject matter, I became someone I never thought I could be. By the final exam of the first semester in my senior year, I had risen to second place in the class. Song-soo's name was right above mine on the list, just one step ahead. I stared at the 3-point gap between us. I thought to myself, this would be the last time he came in first. 7. To achieve this goal, I didn't slack off during this unusually short winter break. I only relaxed a bit during the spring festival and the first day of the new year. The rest of the time I was hard at work. Surpassing Song-soo is not my ultimate goal. I want an undisputed, secure first place, not one that's just a few points ahead and precarious. During the holidays, Song-soo came to my house to visit me. He brought a box of my favorite walnut milk and 2 large lobsters as a gift. My parents knew him and warmly invited him in. He stayed for lunch at my house, his gaze lingering on my face several times before moving away. As I was leaving, my mom asked me to see him off. I planned to just pretend, and only go as far as the downstairs before returning. Just as we stepped into the elevator together, he suddenly spoke. His voice was clear, yet a bit hoarse. Shinli, do you think I said I forgot you on purpose? I glanced at him. I shook my head. It doesn't matter anymore. I don't care at all. Maybe I cared a lot at first. My heart felt like it was being gnawed on by 1,000 ants, wanting to know why he said he forgot me, wanting to know if he really likes me. But now I know, if you can't feel the affection, it means there isn't any. He distanced himself from me several times because of Lin Mingxue, and I wasn't blind to it. I used to deceive myself, imagining that Song-soo had some affection for me. But Lin Mingxue's arrival completely shattered our fragile relationship. He didn't do anything wrong. It's not wrong to maintain distance from other girls for the girl you like. Song-soo lowered his gaze, his dark eyes fixed intently on me. I genuinely had amnesia back then. I truly didn't remember you, but my memories are slowly coming back now. Shinli, please don't ignore me, don't avoid me, okay? He explained to me, a note of urgency in his tone. The elevator reached the first floor, the doors slowly opened, and I glanced outside. I lazily raised my chin. Classmate Song, it's the new year, go home early. I truly don't care anymore. A late explanation is like closing the barn door after the horse has bolted. No one needs it. Song-soo didn't move. He stepped forward and stood in front of the elevator panel. When he looked down at me, there was a brief awkwardness on his clear, handsome face. I'm close to Lin Mingxue and not because I like her. He looked at me intently, with a hidden meaning. We've known each other for 6 years. Don't you know who I like? I suddenly let out a cold laugh. Cut the hints and probes. You know what, I hate all these roundabout things the most. Reflecting now, it was his hot and cold behavior and these ambiguous words that caused the past issues. That's why I fell for him even harder. I thought I mattered. I thought taking the initiative would lead somewhere, but now it's all clear to me. He's just a fisherman whose catch got away, trying to reel me back in so he can control me again. That day, he was somewhat disappointed. In the end, he left in silence. My holiday settled back into quietude, filled with diligent effort. Finally, the first exam of the new semester arrived. I'm the top of the class, 8. When the report cards were handed out, the whole class fell silent, yet I could feel the subtle, probing glances from everyone else. Class 1 in the third year of high school is already the best class. Not only am I the top student in my class, but also the top in the entire school. This time, Song-soo is 3 points behind me, he, the unbeatable god of Sanjong High School. Today, I finally dragged him down from his pedestal. Song-soo glanced in my direction several times. I was completely absorbed in my work and didn't notice at all. My deskmate leaned over and whispered, "Why does Song-soo keep looking over here? Is he still holding a grudge?" He had no choice but to accept it. A few of his friends from class had gathered together. The volume was just right for me to hear every word clearly. It felt like it was meant for my ears. "Song-soo, what happened this time? Didn't perform well." Song-soo's voice sounded a bit muffled. Our Song-soo, the university genius, must not have been in the right state. Shinli just got lucky this time. Can she always come first? Next time, Song-soo will definitely surpass her. Exactly. Some people also spoke out against them. Shinli is steadily improving, never regressing. She patiently explains questions without holding back. Who will ultimately come out on top is anyone's guess, right? Isn't Song-soo's total score 2 points higher this time? So what? Shinli still overtook him. If you don't like it, tough luck. During this period, my popularity has improved significantly compared to before. It seems that ever since I distanced myself from Song-soo, everything has been going smoothly and effortlessly. Every mock exam, no matter how difficult the questions, I always secure the top spot. Initially, I was 3 points ahead of him. Later, it became 5, 7, and then 10 points. I gradually grew to a height he could no longer easily surpass. Being outpaced by his former underlings seems to have shattered his mindset, increasingly silent and aloof, as if isolating the entire class on his own. In the last mock exam, I scored 11 points higher than the second place him. The arrogance once on his face has now turned to defeat. His current haggard appearance reveals none of the brilliance he once had as a top student. Even Lin Mingxue, whom he once treated specially, has been turned away multiple times. He can barely take care of himself, let alone catch up. Why would I ever have the patience to explain things to others again? I once thought Song-soo was an insurmountable mountain. Merely admiring him brought me joy, but only when I climbed over it did I realize it's just that simple. 9. Having tackled even the toughest problems, I naturally wasn't afraid of the college entrance exam. After each subject, I could estimate my score roughly. Once all the exams were over, I knew I was in a good position. The first major chapter of my life has come to a temporary close. I didn't let the waiting period for my results go to waste. I learned about fashion, took skincare seriously, and focused on my appearance. It was a joyful and fulfilling time. When the results came out, my score was 2 points higher than I had estimated. The school specially hung a banner with my photo on it. Song-soo has regressed quite a bit. The top 3 all had their photos displayed. Unfortunately, he was 4th. On the day I returned to school, at the corner of the stairs, Song-soo stopped me. He was wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts. His slightly longer hair was cut, no longer reflecting the dejection of the past few days, and he looked refreshed. He was naturally good-looking. It's striking enough without needing much change. He stood before me, his clear eyes shining with anticipation. "Shinli, do we still count on going to the same city as we once agreed? When exactly? I've almost completely forgotten." Time really is a wonderful thing. It turns out, letting go of a relationship only takes a single year. I looked up and met his gaze directly. "Forget it. My goals are far from the university he wants to attend. I am no longer the Shinli who would sacrifice herself for him. Living for myself is great. Why should I compromise for others?" And so it was. He went to University A in the north, while I headed to University C in the south, over 1,000 kilometers apart. If we didn't go back home, we might never see each other more than a handful of times in this lifetime. College life was vibrant and full of color. After surviving military training, I joined a few clubs and dove back into a busy yet fulfilling academic life. I made many like-minded friends, and my social circle kept expanding. In my junior year, I met a handsome guy from the computer science department at a prize-winning exhibition visit. He was tall, long-legged, and very easy on the eyes. Slightly long bangs covered his eyebrows and eyes, and his sharp facial contours were just right, with not an ounce of extra flesh. My gaze shifted away from the brochure in my hand, as if drawn by some gravitational force. My attention fell on him. At that moment, I thought, if only I had his contact information. Even if we're not friends, having you in my social circle is quite pleasing to the eye. He seems highly sensitive to being watched. With a single glance, he locked eyes with me in the crowd. Then, a slight curve at the corner of his lips softened the original aloofness of his expression. I found myself inexplicably walking towards him. The crowd surged, but he didn't move an inch. It was as if fate had him standing there, waiting for me to add him as a friend. To my surprise, he beat me to it before I could even speak, interested in our team's competition product. His voice is truly captivating, clear and magnetic. With a texture like grains of salt, it left a deep impression after just one listen. I glanced at the robot behind him, flailing its limbs as if it were either dancing or trembling. I gave a slight nod. He smiled at me again and naturally introduced the robot behind him. Its name is Xiaohua. It's equipped with a module that senses human emotional fluctuations, allowing it to identify your emotions from your tone and engage in analysis and conversation. He didn't use much technical jargon and explained it in great detail. Even I, a layperson, understood it. I glanced at the pass hanging around his neck. His name caught my eye. Xie Fengzhou, 10. This name is all too familiar to me. Although I'm a student in the Chinese department, I often hear others mention him. A junior in the computer science department, the department's top pick for the department hunk, and a regular on C University's confession wall. When my roommate said he was ridiculously handsome, I didn't believe it. Now that I've put a face to the name, I have to say, he's definitely the most handsome guy on campus. I listened carefully to his introduction and then asked a few questions. Xie Fengzhou patiently answered all of them for me. Finally, with no more questions left to ask and the moment of truth upon us, I revealed my true intentions. Xie, you explained it really well, easy to understand. Could I have your contact information? He paused for a second, his lips pressed together slightly, as if he was feeling a bit troubled. I immediately thought, with his good looks, he must already have a girlfriend. It was indeed a bit inappropriate for me to ask so abruptly. Then I added, it's okay if it's inconvenient. Your explanation was excellent, thank you. Just as I was about to turn and leave, he suddenly spoke up. Don't you remember, we're WeChat friends. Me, since when did I have such a handsome guy in my friend circle? Meeting my blank stare, Xie Fengzhou's initially upturned lips gradually straightened, his brow furrowed slightly. You really forgot. Was I supposed to remember? Don't tell me I'm having selective amnesia like Song Su during freshman military training. I went to a convenience store to buy water. Unfortunately, my phone died right then. You happened to be behind me and paid for mine along with yours. You told me your WeChat ID. I memorized it, added you when I got back, and sent you the money for the water. The moment he said that, it all came back to me. It was so hot that I was just focused on buying water to quench my thirst and didn't even pay attention to what the other person looked like. Unfortunately, I added too many friends, acquaintances, classmates. Some don't have notes, and everyone keeps changing their nicknames, so I have no idea which account is his anymore. So, under the weight of his expectant gaze, I had no choice. I asked the most awkward question imaginable. Which one is you? Xie Fengzhou paused, then let out a helpless sigh. Then, he took out his phone and started typing away. The very next second, I received a new message. X. Please save my contact name as Xie Fengzhou. Just a few short words, yet somehow they felt incredibly endearing and full of contrast. I added a note for him. Cold-faced, cute, 185 centimeters tall, handsome classmate Xia. With his height advantage, he clearly saw my note. Hesitating for a moment, he finally spoke. My actual height is 183 centimeters. Miss Shin, you wrote it a bit high. Xie Fengzhou accompanied me around the exhibition, and with such a handsome guy by my side, I felt great. Just as I was about to leave, my phone rang. Song Su's name flashed on the screen. I hesitated for a couple of seconds, then declined the call. Yet, he called again. When the call connected, his voice sounded slightly distorted. Shinli, it's been almost 4 years. Could you ever forgive me? All these years, he persisted without fail, sending a daily good morning and sharing snippets of his life. Even though I never once replied, seeming to catch the voice on the phone, Xie Fengzhou's brow arched slightly. It's too noisy here. Go take it in the hallway. I nodded, turning into the quiet fire escape. When I spoke, my tone was calm and even. Song Su, the truth is, I was never actually angry with you, because to me, you're not even a friend, you simply don't matter. He remained silent for a long while. In that drawn-out silence, I ended the call. I had thought Xie Fengzhou had already left, but to my surprise, he was waiting for me outside the passageway. Seeing me emerge, he tilted his head slightly, his long lashes veiling half the light in his eyes. Excuse me for asking, but is he your boyfriend? Apparently, he didn't hear my response to Song Su. No. I gently curved my lips. You're overthinking it. 11. After the exhibition, Xiafengzhou and I gradually got to know each other better. He doesn't post much on social media, yet he started liking and commenting on my posts. It's hard to believe that with a face like his, he's still never been in a relationship. I stirred the brown sugar pearls at the bottom of my cup with a straw and joked, letting such good looks go to waste is practically a crime. He pulled out his phone, pretending to make a call. Then you're guilty too. I should call the police on you. Xiafengzhou had a captivating smile. The faint dimple at the corner of his lips was adorable, a charming contrast to his usual cool guy persona. He's got that aloof, handsome reputation, but once you get to know him, he's actually a real sweetheart. After we'd known each other for 3 months, he made the first move and confessed his feelings that day. He was waiting for me downstairs at my dorm, with all the people coming and going. He was clearly a bit nervous. My face was expressionless, numbed by the constant stares. It wasn't until I came downstairs that he finally cracked a smile, leaning in mysteriously and lowering his voice to a whisper. I'm taking you out for a feast. His electric scooter was parked at the school gate, its basket covered by a brand new, still packaged scarf. I asked him what was inside, and he lifted a corner of the scarf pouch. The night cast the large, bright red roses into a deep crimson. Amid the noise, I found myself in complete silence until he smiled and asked me, cleverly, now that you know my intentions, would you still join me for dinner? And just like that, we smoothly became a couple. He posted a photo of us together on his social media feed, which he almost never updates. He even pinned it to the top. I posted our photo too. A guy this ridiculously handsome, I've got to show him off. My high school classmates flooded the comments with 99, and some were even more enthusiastic. For example, my former deskmate commented directly, damn, he's on a whole other level compared to Song-Soo. Gotta tag him to see this. At Song-Soo, my close high school friends all joined in, tagging him one after another without hesitation. Xiafengzhou saw it. He clearly cared about this name that had appeared so many times. He deliberately made a wronged expression and pointed at my screen. Who is he? I didn't have the right to ask too many questions before, but can I now? After saying that, he crossed his arms, clearly not giving up until he got an explanation. I didn't hide anything. I briefly explained the situation between Song-Soo and me. So much of it has long since faded from memory. All I remember is that, in that unrequited crush that went nowhere, I once carefully and earnestly liked someone. After hearing it, Xiafengzhou was clearly a bit jealous, but what I never expected was for him to step forward and pull me into a tight embrace. His embrace was warm and enveloping. A pleasant voice reached my ear. Someone who wavers doesn't deserve your affection. I was taken aback for a moment. I looked into his bright, spirited eyes. So this is what true affection feels like. It's fervent and intense. It can turn a rumored icy, aloof guy into a warm-hearted sweetheart. However, I don't regret having had feelings for Song-Soo. It was precisely because of these feelings that I got into a top-tier high school. I channeled all my determination and got into the university of my dreams. I also met someone truly worthwhile that day. After my date with Xiafengzhou ended and I returned to the dorm, my roommates were buzzing with excitement. They all asked me how I managed to land such an impressive, authoritative guy. Right at that moment, my phone on the desk buzzed. 2 voice messages popped up from Song-Soo. I clicked on the voice messages and listened to his breaking voice, twisted, hoarse, and sharp. There's no trace of the former calm self-control and aloofness. Who is he? Didn't you say you only liked me? I also replied to him with a voice message, with a light laugh. Sorry, I forgot, 12. Song-Soo was both devastated and shattered when he saw the couple photo. A bunch of his former classmates tagged him in the comments. They were afraid he might miss it. He glared at the boy in the photo. His slightly long, messy hair covered his eyebrows, and his eyes sparkled with laughter. His nose was high and delicate, and the corners of his lips curved upward. Their faces were pressed together in an extremely intimate pose. The sweetness can be felt even through the photo. She dyed her long hair chestnut brown, slightly curled, with delicate features that made her look like a porcelain doll. The couple, both strikingly handsome and beautiful, couldn't be more perfectly matched. Song-Soo clenched his phone tightly, his fingertips trembling as he found her at the top of his contacts. The chat window was filled with nothing but his messages. He couldn't help himself and fired off a couple of accusatory texts. It was a desperate, ugly outburst. He knew he had no right to ask, but he couldn't stop himself. My heart ached with a dull, gnawing pain, as if being devoured by 1,000 ants. Shinli was sharp. He hadn't actually lost his memory from that car accident. He claimed not to remember her to keep his distance and avoid any misunderstanding with Lin Mingxue. Lin Mingxue was gentle and soft-spoken, with long, straight black hair she would tie into a ponytail for class. Standing there, she was the epitome of a campus novel heroine. With a smile, everything around her faded into the background. At first glance, Song-Su's heart skipped a beat. Soon after she transferred, she also quickly noticed him. Having learned that he was doing well in his studies, she mustered the courage to ask him questions in class 1. He remembered the fresh jasmine scent on her. Like a floral rain after the early summer, his gaze was involuntarily drawn to her. One afternoon during the first semester of their senior year, she finished asking her usual physics questions. Before leaving, she looked up at him, her clear eyes seeming to see right through his thoughts. "What's the relationship between you and Xinli?" Her smile was innocent and beautiful. "I can tell, you seem to like her." Song-Su was momentarily stunned, instinctively denying it. "No." Lin Mingxue tilted her head slightly. "Classmate Song. Are you always so stubborn?" In that moment, he suddenly understood. She seemed to be asking him questions just to improve her grades. He began to subtly distance himself from Xinli. Even Song-Su himself couldn't articulate at the time whether it was to provoke Xinli or to prevent Lin Mingxue from misunderstanding further, but only now, in this very moment, did he truly understand. Indecision comes with a price. Song-Su lay awake the entire night. He scrolled through her social media feed, over and over again. There wasn't a single trace of himself to be found. Suddenly, he remembered a morning back in his second year of high school, when he had skipped breakfast. "I'm feeling a bit lightheaded from hunger." Like a magician, she produced a sandwich from a convenience store. "This is for you. I had the clerk warm it up. You should eat it." The girl's radiant smile was like spring sunshine. He averted his gaze, looked down, and accepted it. Later on, for years had passed, Song-Su worked as an ordinary office worker at a company and had never been in a relationship. Xinli, however, was rumored to be getting married to that handsome guy. Song-Su found out through multiple inquiries that a wedding banquet would also be held in their hometown. Many classmates have received their digital wedding invitations. Only Song-Su waited and waited, but there was no news. He painstakingly typed out a few words. "Aren't you inviting me?" It was over 10 minutes before a reply came through. "She's busy. She didn't invite you because she was worried I'd overthink it, but I've changed my mind. I imagine you'd want to see her happy too." Before Song-Su knew it, tears were streaming down her face. His hesitant affection cost him the one who once offered her heart so sincerely. The world is full of countless faces, and many are forgotten in the blink of an eye. Yet Xinli was the one he simply could not forget. On the day of her wedding, he booked the red-eye flight to rush to her side. He sat in the audience, and her pure white wedding dress made her look sacred and beautiful. He didn't give a cash gift at the wedding. Instead, he sent a transfer via Alipay that didn't require confirmation of receipt. 400 yuan, which he had saved from his entire year's salary. Only 8 words were written on the note: "Happy wedding," given willingly. The ceremony ended, and Song-Su regained his clarity. He walked out the door, stepping into a life without her.